Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is the review of last month, July's month ahead spread, and also how the daily draws went for last month and how they may or may not have tied in with these daily draws, with this month ahead spread. So, the spread was what we left behind. We had the Ten of Wands, which was about leaving behind, taking too much responsibility, perhaps pacing ourselves better, not taking on too much, and getting worn out. What we take forward was the Ace of Wands, which was a new goal or getting some inspiration and running with it, developing that. And the outer focus was the Moon, in the sense of that just do what you can, but maybe, don't focus on any fears about what you're doing in the external sort of world to yourself. And also bear in mind that you may not be seeing the whole picture. Your light may be limited in what you're doing. So, and this was the inner focus, was the Page of Cups, which I love the fact that this is an elderly person. The fact that you could have some new sense of joy and some new relationship or some new passion or some spiritual insight, no matter what stage of life that you're in. You could have a new beginning in some way in this area. And maybe a new connection, a way you connect spiritually to your path, or the way that you connect to life in general may be refreshed, even at this stage in your life. And that was the inner focus. And then the general energy month was the Death card, which, as I said, was about change or leaving behind. It's focusing on leaving behind old patterns and things that are not going to be helpful to us, to make way for perhaps the new, represented here by the Ace of Wands. And so it's change. It's letting go of the past, of things that aren't necessary anymore, and then embracing new things, letting new life come in. That's the transition, the bridge we cross to the new. And that's what the month ahead spread was like for last month. So, how did that tie in with the daily draws? Well, we, as usual, will go through the statistics. We had we had a sword card come out 5 times. We had a cups card come out 4 times. A wands card came out 5 times, so the swords and the wands are equal there. The pentacles came out twice. Pentacles card came out twice. So, I mean, swords and wands were 5 and cups was 4. So those were sort of like equal. And the pentacles not so much. But I think we're not yet at the stage where things are manifesting. We're in the creating process, which involves the thoughts, the feelings, the passions, the drive, the choices, the intent. So the fact that those other 3 were more or less equal, but the overarching sort of energies were from the major cards. We had 15 of those, so by far a majority. So we were learning more about the spiritual dimension and the overarching archetypal energies that influence our daily lives. So that's what it was. That's what the emphasis was last month. Now, did any of these cards come out at all during the daily draws? So did any of the month ahead spread, did any of the cards come out in the daily draws? In May's, they didn't, did they? Not May's, the previous month was June. Sorry, the time is moving by so quickly. So in June's, that's right, it was a bit of a strange month because none of the month ahead spread cards came out in the daily draws. But last month, July's, these cards We had 2 cards that did, so we were back to the usual. The Death card, funny enough, the general energy of the month, this came out twice. So that's interesting. That came out twice. And this card, the Ace of Wands, came out once. So, and that makes sense because the change, getting rid of the old, and then, as I said, bringing in the new. The transition between the two. So the fact that those 2 cards came out was the general energy, and that's what the general energy was trying to achieve, to make, making room for the new, the inspiration, the fresh beginning. And so it's interesting that those 2 cards came out. Now, as well as that, I noticed that the Strength card came out 4 times. That made up 4 of the 15 of the major draws. So, that was nearly a third of the majors that came out. So this was a very significant card, and that makes sense, because to go through this transitional period takes a lot of strength, inner strength, and strength of character to take us through that process, to endure that process. And because it can be a wearisome and difficult sort of process, this letting things go and embracing the new and the change and everything else. We need to call upon that inner reservoir of strength. So it's interesting that this came out 4 times in the daily draws. So really, it was about change. It was about a transition from the old to the new, and having the strength to do so, but also the connections and the inspiration, realizing we don't know the full picture yet, referring to the moon, but things will become clearer as we go on, so we need to hang in there and just have this enjoyment once again, this fresh enjoyment, a reawakened enjoyment of life with what we're doing. And I think that's really what the month ahead spread was for. I think it was echoed in the daily draws. I don't have the card available, but the Moonlight card came out a couple of times in the Oracle card. So although the Moon card didn't come out in the Tarot draw, we had Moonlight represented in the Oracle cards. So that's another aspect. The fact that we only see so much at the moment, things will become clearer later on. And I think that did echo what I felt about last month, was that I got to regain sort of like sense of enjoyment for what I was doing, but I didn't understand fully what the process was involving. I still don't know completely either. So, but I trust in the process, and I think that's having an effect. So that, I believe, was a very good, very sort of fair review of the spread and how it actually turned out for the month. I think it was a good representation, and the draws as well connected with it really well. And yes, I think that was a very good spread. I think it was borne out by what happened during the month, the things that were experienced, for me at least, during the month, and was, as I say, corroborated by a lot of the daily draws. So, a very good outcome, really, very good, interesting, looking back at it, and that's about it. That's how it went, and I think it was very good, very insightful, and was very useful in understanding the energies that were around. and help to navigate what was going on, and how to sort of cooperate with those energies and work with those energies to get the best result that we could. So that's certainly what I found. So anyway, thank you for listening. That was the review of last month's spread. Look out for the spread for August, the month ahead spread for August. That'll be the next one to do, to see what spread we get for that. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.